Hello and welcome to Maths with Jacob. This lesson will focus on integration part 3. A special puzzle to warm up the brain cells is on the next slide. The answer will be given at the end. Enjoy. What is the meaning of the following? Good luck with it and see how you go. The indefinite integral. This is similar to the primitive function and we need to find the relevant expression. In the first instance, we are given the integral sign and a particular expression. So I'll do a few examples to illustrate. Here's the first example. The integral of x to the 7th dx. Now, if we follow the guidelines that we saw earlier, we increase this value. Remember that was n, so we increase that to n plus 1. And then we divide by that. So that's the basic rule for most of them. So that makes that x to the 8th. So from x to the 7th goes x to the 8th. And then you divide. And here is your constant. Because it's an indefinite integral, so we don't know what the constant is. But there would have been a constant. Because when you differentiate that part there, that gives you 8x to the power of 7 over 8. That gives you x to the 7th. Plus 0. So you get back to that expression there. Example 2. You've got that expression there. So in each case, we increase that power. So you make that 4. Then you divide by it. You make that 3. You divide by it. And that's x. So it becomes 5x. So that goes from 5, it goes to 5x. Of course, you remember when we differentiate 5x, we get 5, and there is the constant. So that's very straightforward. So when you differentiate each of those terms there, you end up with that expression. Example 3. Now we have to rewrite this in a simple form. So 3 over the square root of x to the 5th. Now, 1 over x to the 5th is basically x to the minus 5 on 2. We saw that in very, very early videos. So 1 over x to the power of 5 is x to the minus 5 over 2. And there's your 3. Okay, so you remember you add 1 to that. So that becomes minus 3 on 2. And then you divide by minus 3 on 2, so that's why you get that section there. So when you integrate from there to here, that's the answer. And then we remember x to the minus 3 on 2 is 1 over the square root of x cubed. And that's why we have that answer there. So if you differentiate that, you will end up with this. Example 4. 5 over 4x cubed is 5 over 4. Now, 1 over x cubed is x to the minus 3. So that becomes x to the minus 2 when you integrate. And you divide by the 2, so that's why that's 8. And then there's your minus sign, because you had a minus sign, so that's the minus sign there. And basically, minus 5x to the minus 2 over 8. Is that expression there. Of course, x to the minus 2 is 1 over x squared. So basically, I'm changing all these to have positive indices. If you differentiate, so always check, if you differentiate that expression there, you will end up with this one. And this one here, 2x plus 3 to the power of 4. So we remember that was n when we were doing the examples earlier, giving you each formula, that was n, so we make it n plus 1. Then we divide by it. Then we also divide by that number there. So that's 2x plus 3 to the power of 5, and that becomes 10 on the denominator, and there's your constant. Very similar here. 3 plus x to the power of 5, when it's the denominator, becomes 3 plus x to the minus 5. So then you add 1 to that to make it minus 4, you divide by it, and that's the answer. I've written it in the form of a positive index. And 4 over minus 4 is negative 1. Now this one here is an interesting one. Basically, because you have this denominator here, you split it up. So it's x cubed over x cubed minus 4 over x cubed. So that becomes 1, and that becomes minus 4x to the minus 3. And those two are very straightforward. So that becomes x. So when you integrate 1, that gives you x. You make this one here, you make that minus 2. Then you divide by minus 2. So minus 4 over minus 2 gives you 2. So there's your 2. That becomes x to the minus 2, and there's your constant. So in each case, just check by differentiating that section, and that should always give you the answer. Here's a quick quiz to help you. Please check through the video at any time. The answer to the puzzle. What is the meaning of the following? I'll be there in a minute. That's a good one, isn't it? And here are the answers to the quick quiz, and the video is at your disposal.